my God, we've been walking for 2 hours. Angie, are you sure this map is right?
Oh,
Angie,
look at it. Oh, it's so cute. Oh, he walks on his back legs,
Angie,
too.
why are you petting the wolf?
Oh, it's okay. My arm will grow back.
It's just a flesh wound. Ooh, there's a hamburger shack over there.
No, Bobby, no. That's definitely mutilated cows. What are you doing?
This just takes to really go with some Skinwalker Ranch on it.
I'm surrounded by idiots.
I want some.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Free Rotation podcast.
I didn't realize it was you at first. It's over. Get out.
I am Bobby, also known as Bobbles, or Bobby Swoosh.
Or Bibby.
Bibby, yes, Bibby.
Or booby.
True. I am joined by a wonderful producer and leader extraordinaire, Angela.
Oh, I realized they couldn't see me do that.
She's doing the rock on thing. And also joined by Beckles, a.k.a. Small Asian Child.
Oh, wait. Never mind. I'll just go back to doing that. Wait, I was like, am I going to be racist?
No.
Okay.
My mom gives you a pass.
Okay, cool. Your mom's not Japanese.
Chinese and Japanese are close enough.
That's
Pretty
why
close.
she
They're
gave
like-
you a pass.
Oh, okay, makes sense. My bad. Okay, gotcha.
Big on those Japanese
I'm a minority. We're all the same.
True.
intruders.
Crusaders?
Crusaders.
For the Crusaders, yes.
Today, we are not talking about delicious salad dressing. Today, we are talking about arguably one of the most haunted or more paranormal or supernatural. It's an amalgam of shit. There's a lot of crap that goes on here, and it's hard to explain.
You mean like the entirety of cryptozoology / paranormal / ufology? Look, ufology? It's ufology, my bad.
Ufology.
Like the epicenter of all of it.
Yes, pretty much. Skinwalker Ranch. Can we start our ska band? That'd be like our intro to every one of our songs.
Yes.
That'd be gas. But yeah, this place is bananas. There is so much shit here.
A-N-A-N-A-S.
Now, Angie, you want to define what a skinwalker is before we get into everything.
Right. Okay, so Skinwalker is an entity that comes from the Navajo culture. Actually, they've been traced all the way back to the Anasazi, which were the first ones.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a comedian's name and not a Native American name. I think they're called the Anasazi.
And Nazis.
A Nazi?
The Nazis.
Nazis.
The Nazis were here back in...
We're starting off
100
real
BC.
good on this. Let's
Who wants
go.
some fried sauerkraut?
But, so the word for them was Ye Naldlushi. Or as a guy on Reddit said, I call them Yoshis.
That makes sense.
And they're a type of harmful witch who has the ability to turn into, possess, or disguise themselves as an animal. The term is never used for healers. So in the Navajo cultures, and this really stems from their cultures only, and like the Utes and the cultures that centered around the Navajo. So you wouldn't really see the Apaches talking about skinwalkers, although they recognize them in this one area in the Superstition Mountains and the Skinwalker Canyon, which is where the ranch is.
And that was the Uintah. It's Uintah Canyon.
Mm-hmm. Or Oyo Amarillo, which means yellow eyes in Spanish. That's what it's known as right now. The Oyo Amarillo.
Yo-yo.
The Yellow-Eyed Canyon. Who wants to go to the Yellow-Eyed Canyon?
Me.
Not me.
Hell no.
Come on, it'll be fun.
Bobby will fly over it and get kidnapped.
While we're going
By
to look
on a
for
UFO.
like the treasure that we've been talking about doing, where you can go to the Skinwalker Canyon and discover whether it's true or not.
I'm going to fight one.
That's right.
I'm going
Sure.
to put some fucking boxing gloves on, Rocky
I'd bet on
montage
you.
it.
I'll bet on you.
I'll go Super Saiyan at some point.
Sweet. You got the hair for it.
I do. God. No, I'm more like you. You ever watch Yu Yu Hakusho?
Mm-hmm.
More like Yusuke or Kuwabara. Spirit sword. And instead of a sword, it's just a giant dildo. That's going to dark.
Nerd.
Your penis just grows.
Now we're really sure what
Don't hit
cockfighting
anything
is.
with it. So, back to the Navajo. They're
Nerds.
not a hoe for Bobby's spirit sword.
Mm.
Oh my God.
Love it.
We're back, baby.
Bam. So the Navajos, They're not a hose. So, they could be medicine men and women. But in order to truly be a healer, you have to understand the good and bad influences in the world so you know how to counter it. Well, some of these healers and shamans would get corrupted by the power of knowing the dark side.
And they would have to do something pretty insidious.
Yeah, you have to purposefully and willfully kill a family member.
Jeez.
And when you think about, truly define, willful, Becky can tell you in legalese, willful means you thought about it, you decided to do it, and you did it knowing the consequences. So that's a willful act. So they had to really, do that. And then they would have to kill the animal. They would wear its skin and go to a ceremony. There's a whole thing, but it was one of their shaman or healers turned witch.
So, in layman's terms, for anyone, they're like Jedi. The healers are Jedi, and Skinwalkers are the Sith. Essentially,
I like how you brought it all back. You brought it all back to the nerdiness, just right back there.
Yeah, no, they had to choose the dark side. They have to choose it.
Willfully choose
it.
That's crazy.
So here's some facts about Skinwalkers before Bobby starts talking about the ranch, so you truly understand what we're talking about. A Skinwalker is a person with the ability to transform into any different type of animal at will. Now, there's been also some people who say they could take on attributes of any human as well.
Right.
So if you make eye contact, they have you.
Yeah, going on that, there are sometimes that they'll lure you into a trap by using a voice of a friend or family member.
Or a baby crying. If a baby cries, I'm leaving it. What are you doing out in the woods?
I hate babies. I'm like, good.
Yeah, why would a baby be crying from the deep, dark woods at 2 a.m.? There's nothing good about that baby. I'm telling you right now. Leave it alone. Call the authorities. This is not
That's
your
right.
fight.
DFACs exist for a reason.
Exactly.
They are most frequently seen as coyotes, wolves, foxes, eagles, owls, or crows. Which are like the bad or death omen animals. Some can also steal the faces of different people and could appear as someone you know. If you accidentally lock eyes with a Skinwalker, they can absorb themselves into your body and take control of your actions.
Nice.
Rare Skinwalkers can also have the ability to enchant the powder of corpses and use the substance as a poison dust on victims. Now, this is important because this is what the Navajo medicine men come out. When a family says they are afflicted by a Skinwalker, Skinwalkers have what do you call those things you spit?
Blow darts?
They have blow darts, and what they'll do is they'll infect you with the bone of a dead person that they've cursed. And I've seen videos when I was researching this, they pull out bones this big out of a person that you think can't possibly be in there.
Fuck?
But they're cursed with these Skinwalker bones. Also, a way to get rid of a Skinwalker is you use ashes from a fireplace and you put it on a bullet. You can...
Oh, ooh! So I'm gonna get a 50 cal.
Yeah. And then we'll do a bonfire, and we'll burn some of your kills and
sweet
Dexter.
You know this is going up on the internet and will always be on record, right?
Yeah. The legend of the Skinwalkers originates from the Navajo, a southwestern Native American tribe. In the Navajo language, the word Skinwalker is Yogloshi, Yoshis, and translates to he who walks on all fours. Skinwalkers have only entered the public discourse relatively recently, since 1996 Skinwalker thing. They're also said to be able to run incredibly long distances and fast. They can run long and fast.
So you see a wolf on its hind legs running really fast?
Yeah.
Go the opposite way.
Yeah.
Or just play dead. We don't know what you should do.
Or take one for the team and film it and put it on the internet.
Or just join forces.
Might as well.
I'm probably just going to join forces.
Might as well. Fuck it.
Be like, you know what? I'd like to be one of you. Skinwalkers have a tendency to hang around graveyards and can dig up graves at an impossibly fast speed. Well, that kind of amused me.
You're picturing it's got it.
And then it's like a sweet little dog with a bone.
Yeah.
But it's like a whole skeleton. While they can take many forms, many people who see them describe them as hollowed out dog-like animals. Skinwalkers are said to recruit more Skinwalkers themselves. There is some dispute in how this happens, but they say there's a ceremony. And you take the skin and people chant, and there's specific words. With all of their advantages, it is said that you can kill a Skinwalker if you call them by their true human name, while they're in their Skinwalker form. Skinwalkers are most commonly encountered near native reservations, though they have been seen all over the United States. So,
especially here.
Yeah.
But yes, Skinwalker Ranch, a.k.a. Sherman Ranch, a.k.a. UFO Ranch. We get everything here. It's a nearly 500-acre ranch in the small town of Ballard, Utah, located in the Uinta Basin.
It's basin.
in northeast Utah. So the Mormons do some freaky magic with their magical underwear, and this is what happens. This is what happens.
No, what's worthy of noting about where it's located in Utah, it's in a place in the U.S. called the Four Corners. And that's a rare geological formation where the states, you can stand in one spot and stand in 4 different states because they form a perfect quadrilateral, which is really uncommon. And it's in an area called Skinwalker Canyon, by the way, where the natives believed held like supernatural power.
Maybe it's a ley line.
It could be.
That's what I'm thinking, because the 4 corners crossing up.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's a vortex there for healing and evil, and a lot of UFOs are seen here. Actually, right here is where the one documented that alien spacecraft crash was documented that's never been redacted, where they found
Roswell?
the 16 small people, the Mecca, New Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
So when people say that there's no such thing, like, it's literally out there documented.
Yeah. The FBI did investigations on this kind of stuff. Like, come on, people. It's a thing. But in the 1990s, the Shermans, I know Shermans,
Sherman's
purchased...
a dirty name here in Georgia, by the way.
Oh, yeah, it is. He burned a lot of shit. He purchased land only to be driven from the home 2 years after paranormal events ranging from UFO sightings, paranormal activity, skinwalker sightings, and everything else. It's like Amityville, but times 100.
Yeah, and we're like talking like multiple cattle mutilations, crop circles, hearing voices calling from nowhere, inanimate objects moving before their eyes, UFOs,
Doors appearing in midair.
right,
Yeah.
strange birds and animals, and wolves that seem to walk upright on 2 legs whenever they feel like it.
They also describe seeing a UFO larger than 2 football fields. Fucking massive. That is absolutely massive. And it looked like a football stadium. That's essentially what it was, with lights on it. That's terrifying. Like, I want to watch Matt Ryan play football, not an alien spacecraft.
Well, the way they described it is that their field lit up like it was like a football stadium.
insane.
Like, if you think about how massive 500 acres is, and then suddenly it lights up like you're watching Friday Night Lights, that is terrifying, especially considering that it's probably not well lit out in Utah or on a ranch in the first place.
No, it isn't. They literally lost 20% of their cattle herd to mutilations, and that's a lot. These herds are like hundreds and hundreds of cows, and you lose 20%. That's a lot. This thing was hungry, or things. They were hungry. They wanted that all American beef instead of going to Mickey D's.
Well, Angie and I were talking about it yesterday, and she was telling me about the wolf incident that happened.
Oh.
Yeah, when they first moved in, the wolf came up and the wife would go out and feed it scraps, which thought it was a stray dog or a wolf, but she didn't want any animal to go hungry. And he was very friendly to her and didn't do anything. And then they went out one day and she was, showing it to her family and feeding him scraps, and he just turned and attacked a calf.
The
they couldn't get
massive
it to
wolf,
stop.
right? That big
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
And then when they shot at it and ran it off, it just stood up and like, peace out.
Yeah, like they unloaded into it, and it was still
Yeah.
just. So I have 2 theories. It's either a dire wolf or it's the Queen of Wolves from Princess Mononoke. Could be. I don't know.
Yeah, she wouldn't have done that.
True. She likes animals.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, if you're unloading shots into a wolf, I mean, they're going to react at some point, even if it's like they're not injured. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then he just
cool.
stood up like, I just pictured him like running out like.
Like a cat, like the little.
It's like some Looney Tunes shit, essentially.
Yeah.
On with the show. This is it.
It's like, thanks for the meat, y'all. Sup?
But yeah, here's a quick history. In 1880, several bands of UTE tribes were relocated by the government onto the reservation surrounding Skinwalker Ranch. The Utes would not enter the area because of the belief that the land was fertile territory for skinwalkers.
Which we described
We
what
described.
skinwalkers were.
Yes. Native Americans long said that the bordering ranch was on the path of the Skinwalker and that it was forbidden to enter the area. Prior to that, the Navajo and Utes described several folklore stories within the area. Like, a bunch of shit happened here, like banana stuff. The Navajo was said to put a curse on the Utes due to the conflict regarding westernization and the colonization of the whites, along with possible slavery occurring between the Native Americans, where the Utes would abduct Navajos and sell them to New Mexican slave markets. Since then, according to the accounts from the Utes, skinwalkers have been seen in the area. One account described them looking like humans with dog heads, smoking cigarettes, and described as having large coal red eyes.
Can you
That's
imagine?
fucking scary.
Can you imagine, like you see this thing, like it's a human with a dog head, he's like, "Sup, motherfucker?"
Or it's just a dog on its hind legs with a human hand, like.
Got my menthols.
I'm a Marlboro man.
I'm on a diet. Got to lose some weight.
Got UFO.
Just like bringing the natty lights.
Which, and this makes sense because the skinwalkers a lot of times are seen as a weapon of vengeance. So you can definitely, in your mind, imagine a Navajo shaman to get back at the Utes, doing the ritual to be able to take vengeance. Navajos don't really discuss their history a lot. I think Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures, the first time they even let anybody ever into the Skinwalker Canyon, and they welcomed him and they told him some of their stories, but they're really like close-fisted about these stories.
And a lot of it was, if you look at the history of it, is, slavery was a big thing we talked about in the North and the South. But in this situation, when they started coming into contact with a lot of Spaniards, when colonization was happening, the Utes and the Navajos were actually used to be allies. They were ones who would fight against a common enemy. But when the Utes were introduced to horses, apparently what happened is they would use those horses to abduct Navajos to sell them into trade.
Slavery.
Yeah. And apparently when the North and the South started fighting, the Utes did get involved, and they basically allied with whites to fight against the Navajos and any sort of or to assist in the colonization of the Navajo tribe. So the Navajos were like, fuck y'all. We gonna turn y'all into like some cursed motherfuckers.
Right, because the Navajos weren't really a warlike people. They did go to war.
Yeah.
But that's why they were so picked on by the Apaches.
Yeah.
Because they were more peaceful.
And this only proves my theory that horses are the root of all evil.
Oh.
This is the point of this entire episode, is that horses, if it wasn't for horses, there would not be UFO sightings.
No, so Angie
Skinwalkers.
doesn't like frogs. I'm the same way with horses.
Really?
They're fucking can kill you. They're huge. And they smell bad. And did y'all watch The Brothers Grimm?
Yeah.
Remember the horse eats the fucking kid and runs off to the witch? Yeah, that's fucking scary. I'm sorry. Fuck horses. They can stay 10 feet. They can stay 100 feet away from me. I'll bring the elephant gun. I fucking hate horses. I got thrown off one as a kid. I have legitimate fears.
Look at Angie's face. She's just like,
He's like the first person who's ever said anything to me like that about a horse.
I don't like horses. They can stay the fuck away.
I can respect that.
Well,
I feel that way about frogs.
this is only proves that if it wasn't for horses, there would not be a Navajo curse upon the land, and UFOs wouldn't have shown up. I mean, hello, horses were the root of all evil in this, I guess. Although I think horses are really sweet, especially like older horses. You get to pet them, and they love to be petted, and they eat the carrots and the sugar cubes. They're so cute.
They're just learning to do a false sense of security.
There have been a lot of cases of people with their fingers bitten off by horses.
Now, let's be honest, though. The best scene in John Wick was when those horses were kicking the shit out of all those people.
But John Wick, didn't we discuss that John Wick's also evil in a way?
He's
bad.
He's
so
totally
yeah.
Well, yeah, he's a bad guy.
And 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Boom.
Checkmate atheists.
Exactly.
Literally.
Yeah, but I don't like horses. Keep them away. Burn them all. But yeah, so during an expedition by Franciscan priests in 1776, the year we were made, God bless the USA.
God bless America.
We're camped in the basin. One individual described seeing a huge fireball flying over the camp that was bigger than a shooting star.
Yeah, it was actually described as like it could not have been anything that was scientifically explained. It was so big that it lit up their entire camp from what the accounts were of that time. So if you're thinking about it, what do you expect, especially in 1776 where airplanes don't exist? You don't have like random shit that's going to be flying through the air at night through like airspace. What do you expect to see? Just a random ass big fireball coming through the air.
And it wasn't a meteorite?
Nope, they said it was too big to be a meteorite.
You know what it was? Chandra casted fireball.
Oh.
She altered.
Somebody fired magic missile at the dark.
Yep. That was the name of a magic card. The Dark, right? Or the Abyss, something like that. I didn't play Magic
Abyss,
back then.
yeah.
I didn't play Magic back
It's
then.
a super expensive card now.
Yeah.
The Abyss.
It's on the reserved list. It's dumb. Anyway.
Woo-boo? She okay?
Yeah, I think she sneezed.
Oh, bless you.
She's turning into a skinwalker.
Oh, Jesus. If she stood up on her legs and pieced out of here smoking a cigarette, you know what? I'd give her a treat. I'd still love her.
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking like you just come across like some like you're just driving down the road and you see this guy, and I'm picturing like Robb Stark from Game of Thrones where the wolf head is cut up on his body. Spoiler alert if you haven't figured that out.
It's like 5 years ago. They're
And
fine.
he's just sitting there like smoking some menthols, chilling out, sitting in one of those like lounge chairs next to the road, just smoking away. Like,
But and that is actually what some of the stories are. A lot of the stories you hear from the Navajo folks on the reservations and people driving through this area is seeing skinwalkers as part they're people animals, like a hybrid, and then they just run after the car. And they're so fast they're keeping pace. And one story that it was on a Let's Not Meet on Reddit. It's where the skinwalker ran up to the car and actually got in the back where the kids were sitting.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, the dad had to stop and fight with the skinwalker to get it out, and
he's like, "What you watching on Netflix, bitch?"
yeah. And luckily for them, a cop pulled up and like helped them out, and it was a Navajo reservation cop, and he's like, "You got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be here. The skinwalker is telling you need to get out of here."
Like, I can see, like, skinwalkers just want to chill out for a while, because I assume it's kind of hard being a skinwalker. You do a lot of running and shit, so, like, they just want to, like, take a drag off a cigarette, have a couple of beers, and then go back to terrorizing people. You know?
Right.
You just caught him on his break, and he was kind of pissed off you're bothering him. It's like when your boss, you're on your lunch break, and your boss is like, can you come back 5 minutes so we can do this? No. I want to rest.
Yeah.
It's the same way with the skinwalkers. They're just trying to chill.
Can you come back 5 minutes early? Can you pay me for that? No. The answer is no.
And they don't get paid.
No.
You know what? We need to start a skinwalkers union.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
Equal rights for skinwalkers.
Hell yeah. Skinwalker 2024. Becky's over here like,
I think I just had a brain aneurysm.
come on. It's been a while since me and Angie have had one of these fun conversations. Let us go on with our craziness.
I mean, they're murderers, though. You're going to be like equal rights for skinwalkers?
A lot of them became this so they could protect the tribe. And even though the tribe hates them and loathes them, that is what they were.
So what you're saying is that they protect and they
and
attack?
They protect and attack. And people don't know who the skinwalkers are. So if you were a skinwalker and you're out doing your shady cigarette smoking skinwalker stuff, and you come back, Bobby and I wouldn't know. You're just, Becky. But if we saw you in your skinwalker form and I said, "Hey, Becky, is that you?" You're dead. Because I called you by your true name.
True dat. Okay.
So if I call her Beckles, she'll still live.
Probably.
Okay, so let's call her Beckles just in case.
Yeah.
We don't want Becky
Or maybe
dying.
even Becky won't kill you.
You
It's
call her
not your
Rebecca.
true name. Yeah.
My true name is...
You're dead.
You missed a syllable.
So, in 1886, Fort Duchesne?
Duchesne.
I cannot fucking
We're
read.
teaching you how to speak today, Bobby.
God bless. Is constructed, and the legend has that a soldier may have been a Freemason, explaining some of the Mason-like symbols etched into the rock wall around Skinwalker Ranch. Yeah, they found a lot of these symbols. Like, they actually have their own YouTube channel, and it's really cool. Like, they just go in depth about a bunch of stuff, and they found like these, not only just Mason stuff, they found like
Oh yeah,
old
it
shit,
goes
like
older, way older.
back, like before the Navajo and stuff. Like, this is
Yeah.
bananas.
Like way back to gosh, and I can't think of the name of the tribe, the Anasazi. It goes all the way back to them from where they just suddenly disappeared. And they didn't have writing or the wheel or anything, but they had these symbols on the wall warning you about skinwalkers and aliens.
Yep, it's bananas. And like they found,
Yes.
and they found, Jesus Christ, and they found symbols that have no record
Explanation.
at all.
Yeah,
At all. So
yeah.
aliens, alternate dimension beings, who knows?
Who knows?
Cthulhu. Cat Thulu.
And remember,
Ooh, I like that idea.
yes,
Cat Thulu.
All hail him.
I'm worshiping like deity discovered.
But yeah, throughout the 20th century, there have been like tons of different accounts from locals mentioning strange visitors, underground rumblings, explosions during the day and night, and a silver globe-like object flying over the fort, a UFO essentially.
And it's like, if you think about it, it's like this. When we say throughout the 20th century, we're talking like 1900s all the way to the 1980s, right before the Shermans bought the ranch.
Like the day the Earth stood still, the silver thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's that and the robot.
But you know what's funny is that the individuals who owned Skinwalker Ranch or the ranch prior to the Shermans buying it, their accounts were that they never saw anything actually happening on the ranch. Which, however, theories are is maybe they just didn't talk about it. Like, they just never reported it to begin with. Because how do you go from having all of these different sightings happening around the ranch, which some do say that really the sightings didn't start until the Shermans started talking about it. They talked about it was seeing the Uinta, I can't pronounce that word, canyon and Superstition Canyon and all of that. They see it around the ranch. They don't see it inside of the ranch itself, but that maybe they just weren't reporting what was happening, even though, there was all these sightings during the 90s.
Well, I feel like it's one of those things, like when something happens in a small town, like something fucked up like that.
Yeah.
You don't talk about it. You don't talk about it. It doesn't exist. I feel like it's something like that where they knew shit's going on.
And they could have truly just been oblivious.
Yeah.
Some
True.
people are absolutely oblivious.
Or
Hair is on fire. It's like,
Yeah.
what?
Or they just couldn't perceive it. Like some people like
Yeah.
have more sensitive, that kind of stuff.
Or and a lot of people will just explain away things. Oh, I see. I heard a noise at a door opening. It's probably just the wind hitting it. Oh, I just saw a dead body rise from that grave. It's clearly just an accident. I don't know what happened.
Someone
Jesus came back.
Yeah.
Someone spanked my ass. Clearly, it's Jesus telling me you did a good job.
Okay, sure. Yes, we'll go with that.
Yeah. Oblivious.
Don't make eye contact.
More like horny. But yeah, from like the 50s and the late 70s, tons of UFO activity. Tons. Absolutely bananas.
It was huge.
Yeah, huge. It was huge. Like, and UFOs could be anything. I mean, it could be it could be a spaceship. It could be a superhuman. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know what it could be. It could be a projectile of some sort. We just don't know.
Right. But the thing was, like, they were talking about, like, the mass sightings were seen from, like, 10 miles away from the ranch. It was, like, a bunch of sightings. It was getting, I mean, it was enough that it was getting reported in the local news about these sightings. It would be that you would have several witnesses seeing the same thing. And it wasn't like you'd see a light in the sky and then it would dart off. It was like you would see these massive aircraft things that you don't have any explanation for. And their lights would be all beaming, making some green, yellow, whatever color they want to make for that day, and people would just be seeing them hanging out in Utah, just like, hey, what's up happening?
If I made a UFO, I would just make it look like a paper airplane. I think it'd be cool.
That would be a little different than these metallic things we keep seeing out in the
Hell
out
yeah,
in the things.
looks like notebook paper, literally. But in '96, after 2 years after buying it, Sherman's left. Like, yeah, we're sick of this shit.
Peaced out.
Yeah, it was later purchased by Robert Bigelow. Is it like Deuce Bigelow?
Male gigolo, yeah.
Hell yeah.
He owned Budget Suites.
Gigolo.
And after an article broke in the local news after the shit went down, he was like, "Yep, it sounds cool. I'm rich.
Yeah,
I want to
because he
investigate this
loves
stuff."
paranormal and supernatural. He's always, I think pretty much his whole life, tried to find answers.
And the catalyst for them leaving was there's this blue orb darting around the field, and he sent the dogs after it.
Get bored, go get it. Go get y'all.
Go get him. Go get him.
This makes a lot of sense. Go get the creepy
Go
thing.
get the creepy orb that at this point we've seen like for 2 years weird shit darting around and all of that crap and UFOs and shit.
And here it's interesting to note that in this area of the country, like especially Navajos, they don't believe in. It's really frowned upon to bring dogs in the house. Dogs are there to protect you and your home, so this isn't uncommon in this area.
And he sent him after it. He heard 3 yelps. They sent him into a bush. He heard 3 yelps. He came back.
Horrible yelps.
Horrible yelps, like awful. Yeah,
Not like that.
probably
More
worse. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with that one. That was a good one. Have you thought about being a voice actor?
Sometimes, but
And then there's nothing.
I don't want to show Matt Mercer up.
Okay.
And then there was no response. He went back in the morning. They found 3 round, greasy lumps with scorch marks. That's all they found left.
And some Skinwalker Ranch.
Yummy.
I feel so bad for the puppers.
Okay, I want to take a break here and cross some T's. And
You're going to
lines.
cross the streams?
Yes. Okay, you remember when we were at the Bigfoot conference, it talked about how Bigfoots are associated with aliens.
Yes.
And what do they hate?
Dogs.
They hate dogs. And they kill dogs. Remember,
Yeah.
The worst thing was when it talked about the mama dog with all the puppies. And when the owners got back, she had literally been picked up like 8 feet off the ground and slung between 2 trees till she died.
Oh, my God. I didn't hear this part.
It was grotesque. It was very gruesome. And then the babies had been taken and most likely eaten by the Bigfoots. So probably snacks. And then the lady who said she could mind speak with them always had to make a point of never having dogs because that is one of the foods Bigfoot's like, is dog.
Riesling, you ready to get eaten?
No.
So when you think about this, if alien, ships are there. The blue orb. Could have been a Bigfoot's around. Bigfoots could also be mistaken as Skinwalker because they do walk down and up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that was part of the reports, is that they saw creatures that purportedly look like Sasquatch.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of strange that literally connected to ufology in this area was Sasquatch. Like, you don't just randomly come up with the idea of Sasquatch. I mean, unless you're like throwing everything in the kitchen sink to see what sticks. But
yeah. But it is interesting how kind of like religions all intersect. These stories all intersect, and you might think that they're separate from each other, but in reality, they go together like this, like fingers crossing.
with a side of ranch, like a salad.
I kind of want to like make a Skinwalker Ranch brand.
Oh my god!
It's got,
For
like,
the hell of it.
It's got bacon in there. And
Ooh.
Oh no! That's making me like my kind
got
of
a picture
queasy.
of a dog on front.
Like a happy dog with like half of his leg missing. Like,
And the top could be an orb shape.
oh my god, it's a UFO.
Yes, let's do it.
Oh, that would be so
and as you
cute.
unscrew it, like you may or may not get teleported interdimensionally.
You need to trademark this like immediately, because at least a
TM.
dozen of our listeners might come up with
We're
this
coming.
idea.
We're gonna hit up Bigelow and be like, hey man, we got
Yeah.
an
We
idea.
got this great idea for
We got
you.
an idea for
Fuck
ranch.
Newman's.
Bigelow Skinwalker Ranch.
With mystery meat.
Ew! It's spam.
But yeah,
I like spam.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
I've never had spam before. Never
It's
had.
good.
It's tasty.
It's greasy, but it's tasty. You fry that shit up, put it in some mayo and some bread. It's good.
Skinwalker spam. Because then we actually call it the mystery meat.
It is a mystery meat.
Okay, this is why I eat tofu a lot more now. I'm just going to put this out there right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bigelow's a big fan of the supernatural and such. He bought the land and made it his home for this paranormal research group, the National Institute for the Discovery of Science, or NIDS, which operated until 2004. The organization was later replaced by the Bigelow Aerospace Advanced Space Studies, so BASS.
And the thing about when the Shermans sold it, they made no profit. They
No.
lost so much money
It
selling
was like
this.
they sold it for like $200,000. Now imagine that's
a
like
huge ranch.
500 acres, and you sell it for $200,000 because you are so fucking freaked out at this point about living on this land.
So when you question whether these people are being honest, just keep in mind they made no profit from this.
Right.
None.
Man, that guy, meanwhile, he set up like posts. He set up like almost like an observatory.
24-hour surveillance.
Yeah.
And he brought in a veterinarian.
Yeah.
So when they saw something, the vet could, I guess to say that's not a real animal. It's
That's not a
smoking
deer.
Marlboro, so.
Yeah. It's smoking. Yeah. Deer don't smoke Marlboros. They smoke menthols.
I wanted to bring up an interesting fact. I was reading an interview with some of the scientists on it, and they were convinced that whatever entity or entities are here knew what they were doing, because there'd be times where something crazy would happen, but they wouldn't have cameras with them. And then when they would, it'd be like when the stationary camera stuff,
Yeah.
it just like out of the reach of the camera.
Yeah.
Because it felt like this knew what they were doing,
Yeah,
but they
they
didn't
only
want to
ever
document it.
caught one trail cam photo, and it's interesting because everything around it is crystal clear, but the humanoid image is completely blurred, and you can't really tell what it is.
Right.
So it was weird.
Maybe they're just a little camera shy.
They're smart. They're people.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Or
if
even
it
the
were me-
aliens.
oh, and the other thing about skinwalkers is it's said, kind of like the Bigfoots, that they can read your mind.
Yes.
And they can also mind control you just like the Bigfoots. So I think there's just a big correlation with
What
all
if
of this.
Bigfoots are just skinwalkers? And that's why we've never been able to spot one, because somebody just turns back. They're like, bloop, I'm a human again.
Could be. Maybe the way you sell your soul is, the chanting is just like dialing an extraterrestrial number.
1-800 dial an extraterrestrial.
Yeah, 1-800
ET phone home.
1-800 ET possession. Like, and the ETs just come down and change you somehow. Just you're modified.
Yeah, he saw UFOs in the area that were not consistent with current military aircraft. So
Yeah,
alien.
and this is crazy to consider because it's down the line a little bit, and we'll mention it. But there was like government funding for this. Like, he was being funded by the government to look into this stuff because there was no explanation for what was being seen. Because while it's one of the most highly documented cases of ufology, paranormal activity, all of that stuff, the government doesn't want to be like, hey, there's something going on here. They're just like, hey, you want some money under the table?
Yeah, and then they'll later confirm that they financed it, but they have somebody else do it. Although the Department of Defense did confirm that they created the Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program.
Yep.
And another thing, when you're in basic training, one of the classes you have to go through is if you encounter an extraterrestrial, how you're supposed to act, what you're supposed to do. It's one of the weirdest things I'd ever been through.
So when you encounter an ET, do you just floss?
No, you're not. Yes.
You just floss
Andrew's
over
about
them?
to give you the serious answer. Then she's like, you know what? Yes, just floss.
You're not supposed to engage. You go immediately and report it to your direct superior, and then it goes up a chain of
Oh,
command.
hell yeah. I wouldn't be like, hey, sup, aliens. I'd be like,
right, because sup
911,
alien.
what's your emergency?
Well, sup alien may mean something different to them. They'll be like, oh, she just declared war.
Oh, exactly.
Obliterate the planet. It's like the Martian, Marvin the Martian.
Well, the problem I see with that is going to your supervisor. Like, after a while, it goes up the chain, they come back to interview. Like, did you really see an ET? And you're supposed to say no, because if you say yes, they fucking kick your ass out.
They men in black you
Yeah,
with, like,
pretty
Yeah,
much.
they
thing.
Section 8 you. Oh, you saw an ET.
Yeah.
But, Bobby, at that fort, weren't there, like, multiple sightings? But
Yeah, but there was tons of sightings. It was ridiculous. Like, and you can't cover this up. Like, not like this. And what worries me is, like, if it's just at this one base, imagine what other sightings have been at other bases.
Right, exactly.
This should have been like, oh, it was a military exercise.
Lol.
Yeah. But in 2012, so quite recently, all the power was knocked out at the fort, and a strange, eerie glow ebbed in the sky. And you could see it because there's no power. Like, it was just huge.
Right.
And it was a massive UFO sighted by multiple people over the town.
Right.
So, can't cover this
this
shit
was
up.
over Fort Duchesne. Now,
Yeah.
let's remember that this is like right out in the middle of the Uintah Basin where Skinwalker Ranch is. And that entire area, even in the 70s, there was a book written prior to the Skinwalker Ranch incident in 1990s, that this entire area was just full of UFO sightings. So this was just a more recent sighting that had come up. It's not like we're looking at from like the 30s and 40s talking about some stuff that was like slightly accounted for. This was like, what, 7 years ago?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then in 2016, it was sold. The ranch was sold for a rumored amount of about $4.5 million to an undisclosed buyer who operates under the corporation Adamantium Holdings.
we see you, Wolverine.
I was about to say, is this the X-Men? Is this how the X-Men are created? I read that and I was like,
Skinwalkers are X-Men.
they could be.
Could
They're
be.
Animorphs.
Oh.
Just saying.
But Animorphs are good
One of your
people.
favorite things when you were a
Oh
kid?
my God, the Animorphs were like the first chapter books I ever read for
Okay,
fun.
which Animorph did you want to be?
Like, what kind of animal or what kind of like, if I wanted to be a character in the book?
Yeah, character.
I don't think. Okay, so Rachel died, so that would probably not be fun. Tobias got stuck in his hawk form and couldn't
Spoiler
come back.
alert.
Okay, if you haven't read these books in 20 years, you got a problem. Jake went like crazy because Rachel was his cousin and he kept seeing people. And Cassie like dipped out, and then probably Marco because he was the sarcastic guy that people kind of like and tolerated, but he was the one who was like the chillest. So I think Marco.
Could one of them turn to a slug?
Yes.
I remember seeing that one on the covers. Like, it turns like, that would suck.
Yeah.
That's not even fun.
I think they took like part of that though from like D&D because
my God,
like
they're skinwalkers.
yeah.
Pretty much.
Like in D&D, you know, if you like turn into like a fly or a bird, you take the mental
you stay too long.
attributes. No,
Yeah.
you take the mental attributes of them, so
Yeah.
they're like a mental intelligence of one. If you did that in Animorphs, they would do the same thing. Like
Really?
yes, you couldn't like you weren't intelligent. You still took that mental attribute. So I was like, that girl who wrote those books and her ghostwriters were D&D players.
Oh, she had ghostwriters?
Oh yeah, by the end of the series,
Yeah.
it was all ghostwriters.
Really?
Yeah, it's same with the V.C. Andrews books. They're ghostwriters. V.C.
Yeah.
Andrews is dead.
Yeah,
they're
all
still
you
writing
need in
books.
V.C. Andrews is incest, somebody getting pregnant under the age of 18, and incest. Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty much
that's
what
a
it boils
V.C.
down
Andrews
to.
book.
First, it's non-con incest,
Right.
and then it's consensual. So,
Appreciate.
did y'all hear that?
Skinwalker.
Oh my God. Well, Bobby's first, so
It's fine. Fuck, I got nice hair. I'll fight it.
yeah.
Go Super Saiyan.
So, what animal would you choose if you could be a skinwalker? What would you choose to be?
I want to yell Wakanda forever, but I was gonna say a Black Panther
Oh, that makes sense.
because you're like can stealth.
Yeah, in the U.S., you would really stand out, Becky.
Okay, fine. I'd be a mountain lion. That wouldn't stand
Yeah,
out.
you'd be a cougar
You are
or a
one.
puma.
A puma.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'll be a pupper.
You want to be
Yeah.
would you be smoking a cigarette?
Hell yeah. And if I'm in the Southwest, I'm gonna get little cowboy boots on, a little hat.
Oh, that's adorable.
Are you gonna ride a horse?
Yes.
Yeah.
The dog riding
The
a
dog
rubber
riding a
riding a
horse.
horse. That's amazing.
That'd be hilarious. And then it throws you again and you're done.
Yes.
Like, for real.
Oh, could I?
Kill you now.
How about this? I'm a horse riding a horse to go somewhere non-sexual.
Isn't there like a whole thing about centaurs riding centaurs in a battle or some shit like that? It's a meme on the internet.
Yeah.
Probably.
You know what's interesting is that there have been skeletons of centaurs found.
Yeah. He just didn't make it onto the ark.
Yeah. He's done.
Y'all watch Good Omens, right?
Right. That's what we
Remember?
talked about.
Oh, the unicorn ran off. Aww.
They got
Hey, your
another one.
unicorn got away. Oh, never mind. It's too late now.
Maybe I'd be a unicorn. I would actually do something that would fuck with people. Like, yeah, I saw a giant ass gorilla in the middle of
right, 'cause
Atlanta.
if bullets can't stop you, why
Right.
not?
Would you be, Angie?
Well, now that Becky said all that, I'm kind of rethinking.
I got an idea for you.
What?
Jackalope.
Oh, I'd be a jackalope. Yes. Yeah.
What about
Or-
a liger?
Those are real.
No, those are adorable, and I would want to pet it.
Chupacabra.
Chupacabras are real, Becky, but I'd be one.
Yeah, but you could be a
Yeah.
chupacabra.
No, you know what I would be?
Mothman.
No, it scares me. I think that I forgot what I was gonna be now that you said that. You scared me with it. Forget it.
Just tweet it out later.
I don't even remember what it was.
I don't even know.
You've scared me.
You're welcome.
But going back to how we're talking about the government was funding this project,
I'd be a squirrel.
Squirrel Girl.
Yeah, but
Sen-
it'd be enormous. My size squirrel. I'm sorry, Bobby. We need to picture this and talk about it.
That's fine.
So I would
got
be
these
an
nuts?
enormous squirrel. Yes, and I would
With
just
big ass nuts.
throw like cantaloupes at people.
Why cantaloupes?
Cause I don't want to throw an acorn. That'd be stupid. Be like, I'm gonna get you. I'm a huge.
You get an acorn gun.
Oh,
I got a gat.
She'd be like a squirrel terrorist. What the hell? She'd be like those magic card sleeves that you have. Oh my god.
That'd be great. I'd be super happy about that. That'd be fun.
Durka, 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 durka,
Durka,
durka.
Durka, 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 durka.
We're back, baby.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I'd be. Yeah. Or a camel. I would just be a camel. I would just appear and just walk away, so people could be like, "Did I just
But
see
you
a
couldn't
camel?"
do it on Sunday because Georgia has a law about tying up your camel on Sundays,
I
remember?
wouldn't be in Georgia. I'd be on Skinwalker Ranch.
Okay.
But can you shout at people on Wednesday? Hump day.
Oh my
Yes.
god, that would be so
Oh
good.
my god, this is my goal in life. 1, become a skinwalker. 2, be a camel. 3, shout hump day.
Deal. Deal.
Then run super fast away before somebody shot me.
Well, you would be immune because you're Skinwalker.
Well, not if they coat them in ashes.
True.
Or said my name, be like, Angie, I know that's you, dead. I'd be like, what's my
Follower.
real name?
Okay,
Angela? Oh, fuck.
so I have a question about that. If you get your name legally changed, does your old name apply to it now, or is your
No,
new name?
it's still your true name.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
That's why mine is. Anyways, continue on, sir.
I think you pronounced it correctly.
But no, so going back to what we were saying about the government funding bit, Senator Harry Reid, not Harry Potter, Harry Reid, confirmed procuring funds for Robert Bigelow in order to study the phenomena at Skinwalker Ranch. It's fucking crazy. And there's a couple of books, at least one book, Hunt for the Skinwalker by George Knapp and Colm Keeler? Keheller. That's an interesting name. He got bullied. Which sparked the internet's interest in the Skinwalker Ranch. And then you also there's a documentary, I believe, based off this book.
Yeah.
History Channel.
Yes.
And don't forget, isn't George Knapp from AM Coast to Coast?
I think
Oh,
so.
that radio channel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is that George Norrie?
I don't know, but I think that's the book publisher is George Knapp.
Yeah. But it was big news. But that was the book that it documented everything. If you ever want to read the actual, like, there's a lot of accounts about Skinwalker Ranch. We could probably do a few episodes on it if we really wanted to cover like the in-depth portions of it.
Well, and skinwalkers have been reported as low as Texas and into Louisiana. I think it was a book or a movie called The Creature at Bogey Swamp or something like
Yeah.
that. And some people think that he's a skinwalker just because of his appearance.
It's possible. Anything's possible.
I never want to run into that thing.
Fuck no.
No.
But yeah, if you ever want to hear more, like you can always look at Hunt for the Skinwalker. There's a
Ghost Adventures. Skinwalker Canyon with Zach Bagans.
And then last podcast on the left did a 3-part series. It was like 4 hours of Skinwalker Ranch stuff.
And then I believe Stuff They Don't Want You to Know did an episode about Skinwalker Ranch a couple of years ago.
And so we kind of we're giving you the down and dirty of what it is.
Right. You could also get more in depth by looking up the Four Corners Paranormal. You could also look up Skinwalker Canyon, which is Skinwalker Ranch is just a small part of a much larger thing.
Yeah.
It's just so much happens on Skinwalker Ranch.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a small piece in the Superstition Mountain Range.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in that area. Thanks, Utah.
And if you become a Skinwalker, we'd like to interview you.
Oh, hell yeah.
Don't attack us, but we would interview you.
We would keep your name. You don't even have to tell us
You
your
don't
name.
even have to use your real name. You can go back.
That's your name.
No, I had different syllables in mine.
Oh. Okay.
Hey, Becky, where can they find us?
You can find us not at Skinwalker Ranch, but you can find us
at.
You can find us on Facebook at The Free Rotation Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at The Free
And on
Rotation.
Spotify.
You can find us on YouTube and Twitch at The Free Rotation. Angie's going to stream some very scary video games, and you can donate to make her scream because they're screaming like noises and shit.
And I have put this off, but I will do it soon.
Okay. You can also find us on Weeby Geeks. We are part of the great podcasting network covering all kinds of geeky related topics, and that's at WeebyGeeksPC.com.
Hey, don't we have our own website?
We do have our own website. It's at TheFreeRotation.com. You can check that out and check out our backlog of episodes.
You didn't mention Spotify.
We are on Spotify. We are on Stitcher. We are
YouTube.
not on SoundCloud. And we're also on Instagram at The Free Rotation. The Crusaders are getting me.
And we have a Facebook page.
I just went over all of this. Guys, just check out the episode.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. See you next week.
Bye.
Free